Yeah.
So, we might start with one shot of Tilda, please, and then we'll grab the whole thing.
Yes.
So,
My mother always told me to be bold. That was her constant sort of lesson to me. My dad's was always set the bar low, so you can see the different parenting styles there.
The Cobham-Herveys are really well known in Adelaide, especially in the art scene. They are kind of like arts royalty here.
What I love is they don't take themselves too seriously. The absurdity in life, they embrace it.
Roz Hervey, in the house.
My mum did many things across her creative life, but she was mainly a dancer, and she was an extraordinary dancer.
Roz spent a lot of time here performing.
So we're very lucky to have a seat named after Mum, in memory of Mum.
Roz was passionate. The way she lived her life was the same way she approached her death. So it was controlled, imaginative, creative.
She wanted agency over how she was going to die, just as a dancer would want to control how their body moves. She wanted to be the choreographer, if you like, of her own death.
She wanted to use what time she had left to celebrate life. And in a not so subtle way, sort of told us no tears.
She taught us all to find the joy in every day, and it was great fun, and which seems a weird thing to say when your partner's dying.
How we survived the 2 years was by laughing about stuff we shouldn't have laughed about.
If I sit here and I say, excuse me, you sit in my dead.
I'm so surprised that we were able to have so much fun in that hard time.
It just reset, I think, all of our brains about what the purpose of being alive is. Weirdly confronted by death, it taught us how to live. It's in the house. That is really front and centre.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could say I've been acting for half of my life now. So since I was 16, I'm now 31.
And action. Tilda has done now a lot of international and Australian film and TV projects, so she's a well-known actor in Australia.
I'm ready.
The breakthrough film was when she was cast in 52 Tuesdays.
Who are these people?
She did Hotel Mumbai.
What do they want with us?
She did I Am Woman, where she played Helen Reddy. She was in Lost Flowers of Alice Hart, Apple Cider Vinegar. And now she's emerging as a filmmaker, a writer and director of her own work.
Storytelling is so important to me. It's how I've always, I guess, made sense of the world. So the film is called It's All Going Very Well, and I started writing it about 8 years ago. It probably came from my mum saying, stop just waiting around to be an actor. The film is set in a care home, and the lead character in it interviews the residents and does life story recordings. And there was sort of a moment where I went, oh, this would be so good to do with Mum.
Tilly decided to interview Roz just to ask the questions she'd always wanted to ask her mum, I think.
Roz is imbued in Tilly, be a maker, be a creator, leave something behind that leaves your mark. I think it gave it purpose, the time left.
And it's interesting watching those interviews as she got more emotional and as she started to connect to the things that really mattered, and they all boiled down to the things that she said in the last few days of her life.
All right, we're recording. Could you just say something just to check the sound one more time?
Yes, my name is Roz Hervey.
Okay. We filmed this over 3 weeks, I think in 5 different sessions. Yeah, I've never looked at it again. I think because it's hard and it makes me cry. But also, I think it'll become something I probably look at a lot more as time goes on. How long were you in Sydney before you met Dad?
That is a good question. We were doing a show and he came on as the production manager, lighting designer.
The first moment I saw Roz was quite extraordinary. As part of the performance, she came in through the window and she's topless, in suspenders and high heels, smoking. It was the most amazing introduction.
He had this cute little earring. He was very funny. I mean, he was so romantic. He rode a motorbike. We were both into the arts.
I watched her perform night after night for years. On stage, there could be 20 people on stage and you just can't take your eyes off it.
There was only one Roz Hervey in the way she danced and performed. Without necessarily calling herself an actor, I would call her a theatrical dancer. She was nationally highly regarded.
Did you ever question your confidence as a dancer or like you as a performer? Like, was there doubt?
I was always highly critical of myself as a dancer.
I would say control was of the essence of Roz. She was all consumed by a role or what she needed to think while she was performing.
She'd won Australian Dancer of the Year, but she was just not getting enjoyment out of it.
I'm 38 years old. I'm stressed as why I needed to feel like it was perfect. And I was just at a point where I was like, I don't need that in my life anymore.
Thank you.
Hello, you too.
Everyone's excited to see you.
I can't wait.
So Mum decided that she didn't want to dance anymore and then came and started working with Restless Dance Theatre, and she just loved working here. So Restless Dance Theatre is a disability-led dance company. It uses performers from all over with mixed abilities. Mum was always interested in making work that was pushing the boundaries, making people think different ways. It was how Mum lived and breathed, and how Dad did as well. One collaboration that you are extremely responsible for is myself.
Yeah.
What was the moment of finding out you were pregnant like? How did you feel?
Absolutely excited. Just felt so right.
That's Mum pregnant with me. That dress was around for a very long time.
Roz and I, our lives were all about work and about art. Tilly just completely got absorbed into that world.
That shows how intense I was as a child, that photo, I think.
And it was interesting to watch Huey, born 10 years later, not accept that world because he didn't want to be an artist. It didn't make sense to him. It bored him.
God, Huey's dribbled a lot. He looks pretty, but he's dribbled. Yeah.
Growing up in a creative family in the arts was a lot at times, but also really enjoyable.
Yeah, I took these shots.
Yeah.
What a babe.
Took about punching above my weight.
Yeah.
Roz had never been to hospital except to have her babies. Illness was not in her world. So when she had these leg pains, she instantly said to me, "Oh, there's something wrong," because she knew her body so well and she was so attuned to it.
In October of 2022, she went to a neurologist and was diagnosed with motor neurone disease.
It's like time stopped. And we ended up in a park over the road and you just like clinging to each other with this horror of like, mostly going, how do you tell the children?
I was in LA and they called me. They were both in so much shock, and as was I. But Mum already was, I remember her crying, but she was already so calm. I think she was kind of really glad to know what it was.
They had said she had 2 years to live. Yeah, it was pretty intense, and I kind of lost it a bit.
Motor neuron disease is a neurodegenerative disease. It's essentially a wasting and weakness of muscles that progressively steal your independence. You lose the strength to walk, to talk, and ultimately breathe. And we have nothing to cure the illness.
MND weirdly affects a higher proportion of people who've been physical. A lot of footballers, a lot of dancers, and it's particularly cruel because those people are all people who have had supreme control over their body. And for Roz to have that taken from her was super confronting.
Quite early we realised the really hard bit of getting a diagnosis is having to deal with everyone else's feelings about that diagnosis. So being the very practical person that she was, she went, well, I'm just going to write an email to everyone that I know and it's going to explain what's happened to me, explain what I need from them, and that I'm going to die in 2 years. And we were like, okay, yep. I'm writing to let you know that I've been diagnosed with motor neuron disease. Bummer.
Everyone would say, did Roz really just say bummer about getting a terminal illness? I go, yeah, she did. It did set the tone for how she and everyone started to approach it.
I will have wobbly days. I'm not afraid of crying in front of you, so don't feel the need to protect or try and stop me from feeling all the feels. It's going to be a part of my journey. I really want and need your support. We plan to hold regular Sunday afternoon tea parties at our house and hope you will be able to join us sometime.
We think of the term death literacy as people who have opened their minds up to the fact that they are going to die, because we all are. It was a truly beautiful thing to see how she could talk so openly and put people at ease.
So after the first 2 weeks of shock, she quite quickly held on to this saying of seize the day. She was able to lead everyone, including us, as to how she wanted it to happen. And I think it was so helpful for people to know how to respond to her.
Rehearsal time at Restless Dance Theatre and producer Roz Hervey is on hand with the help of her daughter. Powering through 10-hour days, you wouldn't guess the 58-year-old has motor neuron disease.
Very soon after Mum was diagnosed, she started talking about voluntary assisted dying and knowing that that was the way she wanted to end her life.
I'm a control freak, and MND is about losing control, and the voluntary assisted dying law will enable me to make that choice to die when I want to die.
She was never scared she was going to die. She was scared that she wasn't going to have control.
She had a really clear line in the sand of when she didn't want to be in this world anymore. It was all about dignity. She wanted to be able to wipe her own bum. She didn't want to have to be helped with that.
Up to a third of people who have motor neuron disease utilise assisted dying. People know where this illness is heading for them. So many people don't want to live as long as they can. They want to live as well as they can.
We had a big crunch moment where we really got emotional and the grief just overwhelmed us of what was happening. And she hated the feeling of that. She went, I can't do this. I can't be that person. So I have to take control of this. And you're going to have to switch off that emotional thing. It was an order. It was like, I need you to do this for me or I'm not going to be able to go on.
She sort of gave us a bit of an ultimatum that she wanted to live for joy.
Okay, deal it.
She told us, well, you have time to grieve when I'm not here and I don't want to do that now. So that was pretty hard.
It was really traumatic at the time because I was like, I am grieving. Like, you are dying and I'm losing the love of my life and my whole life's falling apart. How am I not grieving? And I was really cross about it.
Of course, we were allowed to be sad, but we didn't feel right to show it. So I really tried to respect that.
Tilly might win a round.
I reckon I'm going to.
I reckon you're not.
Oh.
Is that the set about
And then I just had a little epiphany after watching her be so courageous. Because, you know, she'd be in here and she'd be sick and it'd be horrible. And then we go out in public and she would power through the day. And I'm going, if you can do that, then I can certainly park the grief.
Yes.
Scopa.
Hey.
And once I'd got over that, it was actually great. It was a real relief for all of us. And then we had the best 2 years of our lives.
The task was, you just need one good thing a day, and that will make life worth living.
Not even a month after the diagnosis, we were on a plane to Japan, and that was our first trip.
They went on this kind of world tour, this hilarious footage of them at karaoke bars in Tokyo, and they lived it up.
Mum dressed up, that's her dressed up as a beer bottle. She sang and couldn't stop laughing. The humour was a huge gift to us all, and we made a lot of jokes about the horrors and about death, and about her planning her death.
You know, we'd be in a cafe and she'd go, well, do you think I should kill myself in the evening or in the morning? And we'd all be like, oh my God. We would laugh so much because she just is such a practical person, you know, and she'd be so down to earth and ridiculous.
And she said, we know how to make shows and we know how to plan events, and that's all that this is.
I think that was quite a challenge for Jeff, Tilly and Huey to almost be a production team around how they lived each day. But if someone you love requests something, you go to the ends of the earth to fulfill that request. And they've said, even though at times it was difficult, it was a gift.
There were some desperate days when we didn't have joy. There'd be panic and I'd ring Tilly and go, what am I going to do for joy tonight? She got these terrible spasms where her leg would lock up and she was in a lot of pain. It meant we would have nights where we wouldn't have any sleep. Or she would fall over and crack her head open and well, I'd have to take her to emergency and they'd stitch her head up again. She would get very frustrated and make her very angry. She wasn't angry at me, she was just angry at the disease.
I think Mum felt very passionate about the idea of having a good death.
It's everyone's right to have
die well.
access to voluntary assisted dying.
Roz was diagnosed in October 22 and in February 23 the Parliament passed voluntary assisted dying laws in South Australia.
VAD is legal in all states and territories in Australia, although Northern Territory is just at the final stages now of adopting it. But still quite a large percentage of the Australian population don't even know that VAD exists. Roz did experience some frustrations with the VAD process here.
In South Australia, under our legislation, healthcare professionals must not raise assisted dying as a topic.
Anyone I talked to about it didn't know it was legal here.
No.
She also struggled with the timeline.
So currently there are guidelines around when you can choose to die. With cancer, you need to only have 6 months left to live. With motor neurone disease, 12 months. I would love to give people the opportunity to choose the time when they are ready. Because really, why would you let people in pain live the rest of their life if they don't want to be here?
The legislation's there for a reason, to protect our patients, to protect our healthcare professionals. So they're very tight boundaries that we work in.
Cheers.
When the disease reaches your lungs is really the bit where you know you're at the end of the line. So that was what they were waiting for, to be able to give her the green light to do it in South Australia. Her line in the sand was not that.
She was distressed. There was difficult pain, and at times the spasticity, the stiffness of her legs made it so difficult for her to care for her own personal hygiene needs. But that life expectancy in the absence of swallowing or breathing difficulties was greater than 12 months.
She couldn't believe it and went straight into registering for Dignitas in Switzerland.
We'd done a lot of research on Dignitas, the Switzerland version of voluntary assisted dying, which is much more accessible. Roz was very committed to Dignitas, whereas the rest of us were a bit like, what, we get back on a plane and we've left Roz in Switzerland to be cremated and sent afterwards in a jar.
And Tilly said, why don't we just go in one more time and see what the doctors think?
We arranged for some breathing tests that showed that her breathing strength, her muscles had deteriorated to a point that my estimate of her life expectancy was now much shorter than 12 months, and that she met those eligibility requirements.
We were just so relieved to realise that we could do it on our own terms, in our own way.
Which I think, again, something that voluntary assisted dying, it didn't just prepare her for death, it prepared all of us for her death. I think over the last week of her life, she let go. She got worse quickly, and I think an element was her accepting the end. We did go and stay somewhere else for this to happen. She said she wanted to be looking at vineyards. We had amazing food and we were just in nature, amazing sunsets. It was very special being in such a beautiful place.
On the last day, we recorded the final sort of interviews. We asked her questions, all of us, it wasn't just Tilly.
Anything else you want to tell us? It's very open-ended, but just we've asked you a lot of questions. Is there anything you want to?
Yeah. Live hard.
You've taught us to do that already.
After we'd finished asking all those questions, we turned it off and she went, I just want to record something about VAD. And she just did this really impassioned plea.
Is it rolling?
Yep.
Yep. It is so, so important that people have the opportunity to die with dignity. I would really encourage people to talk about this more.
And it really was a call to arms to us, for me and Dad and Huey, to keep trying to get the information out there about voluntary assisted dying.
Yeah, the fact that she really only had a few hours left and she was thinking about helping other people was pretty special.
I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. I get to choose my beautiful surroundings, people who I love around me, and dying in a calm, beautiful and graceful way. I am ready.
We had dinner and we sat around the fire. We were in the middle of having such a great time and giggling and everything. It was about 10:30, 11 o'clock, and she went, come on, it's time.
She goes, oh, well, should we do this? I'm pretty ready now. And we were all just like so shocked. And she said, okay, what I want to do is I want to go outside and I want to look at the stars. And then I want to come inside and Tilly, I want you to put my lipstick on and I want you to brush my hair And Huey, I want you to take my shoes off. So it was like dressing her up for her her big moment, really.
We all just got in on the bed with her, and it was a very natural thing.
I started asking questions like, where can we see you? She said I would be able to see her in the ocean and Tilly in the stars.
Her final words were, "Oh, I'm so lucky," which was just like such a gift to all of us to be able to have her in that moment give us that reassurance that she was content. Yeah. To not be scared of the ending and the unknown, to walk towards it with such joy and love is still something I can't quite get my head around. Her death and what that taught me in those 2 years has given me the confidence, weirdly, to make a film. The film is about a woman who is in her 30s and her relationship with a man in his 80s who's nearing the end of his life.
Audrey, everything has an end.
Not a sausage. Sausage has 2 ends.
No.
I think Roz's death had a huge influence on the kind of film that Till made. I think it's made it a very rich exploration of life and grief and dying too.
There's direct things that happened in her journey of those 2 years that are in the film, and other things that just, I think, really influenced my performance of the scenes because I understood it on a deeper level.
You cannot say that to your mother.
It was the energy of particularly the last part of Roz's life that fed into Tilly's ability to carry on with such focus into her film. To be in every scene, to have written it, to be directing it.
It really feels like I made it with Mum, even though she wasn't around. It was in honour of her, inspired or pushed into existence by her. So that'll always be incredibly special for me, no matter what happens with the film.
Mum first planted this garden before I was born, so I'm just trying to give it a bit of a revamp. We chose this tree to put some of Mum's ashes under because I think it really represents her. Mum's favourite colour was red, and it does beautiful red fireworks, flowers all through the year.
Having a terminal diagnosis and then deciding to just find joy, that's a massive undertaking, what she did. And she taught all of us that we can all do that.
Life's short and you got to go out and live it. I think that's the big takeaway, and she really showed that in the last 2 years.
I really try and live with the things she taught us, which was to seize the day and be bold. It's made me a lot less scared of dying, watching her experience of death. And I am really excited by this new version of life.